face and voice of Africa. The story of resurgent and burgeoning Africa is here, only on the Pulse of Africa channel. Pulse of Africa, the face and voice of Africa.
Welcome to Pulse of Africa News. I'm Gamatisa Mandida. We start with Bahadar City hosting an international conference. The first international conference on rule of law and alternative dispute resolution for sustainable peace and development is underway today in Bahadar, with Ethiopian Deputy Prime Minister Temesgen Trune in attendance. The African Union Commission, represented by Ambassador Salah Hamad, head of the African Governance Architecture, African Peace and Security Architecture Secretariat, is participating in this landmark conference in Bahadar, Amhara region, which focuses on the rule of law and alternative dispute resolution for sustainable development. Attended by government officials, academics and regional stakeholders, the conference highlights Ethiopia's pioneering approaches in governance, transitional justice and conflict resolution. In his address, Ambassador Hamad emphasized the strategic significance of the conference for advancing both Ethiopia's and Africa's governance and stability agenda. This conference plays a vital role in strengthening the rule of law and peace building, which are key to sustainable development, he noted. The conference serves as a platform for Ethiopia to share its best practices while contributing to the African Union's continental policies, including the 2019 Transitional Justice Policy, which addresses legacies of conflict and human rights violations through inclusive and sustainable processes. Ambassador Hamad underlined that the AU advocates for a rule of law that is accessible and understandable to all citizens, ensuring broad participation in governance and justice processes. Ambassador Hamad praised Ethiopia's innovative practices in alternative dispute resolution.
This conference on the rule of law and peace building for sustainable development is quite important and plays a vital role in advancing Ethiopia's and Africa's governance and stability agenda. For the African Union, we see our participation in this meeting is not only to support the conference, but in fact to learn from the deliberations and proceedings that will take place today and tomorrow.
He stressed that locally legitimate justice mechanisms rooted in mediation, reconciliation, and dialogue play a critical role in preventing violence, restoring social cohesion, and reducing pressure on formal judicial systems. The African Union has increasingly recognized these mechanisms as integral to transitional justice processes, providing space for women, youth, and community leaders to actively participate. The outcomes of this conference should not be confined to the Amhara region or Ethiopia, Ambassador Hamad said.
We've been recently working with the government of Ethiopia to introduce a transitional justice concept. And to be very honest with you, when we met with the officials from the government of Ethiopia, and particularly the Minister of Justice and the Ethiopian Commission for Human Rights, we found the Ethiopian experience far away advanced from what we have had in mind. We learned about the Shimgelen mediation, the elders' councils, the faith-based reconciliation processes, and more and more. All of these experiences need to be introduced to the African continent. Why? Because these mediation systems are part of the traditions and the cultures, not only of Ethiopia, but many African societies and African communities.
They are meant to inform African jurisprudence and benefit citizens across the continent, supporting stability, development and peace throughout Africa. The conference represents a platform for Ethiopia to share its best practices in governance and conflict resolution while contributing directly to the African Union's continental agenda for sustainable peace and justice. Burkina Faso has officially inaugurated 2 new modular government data centers in Ouagadougou, marking a major advance in the country's digital sovereignty strategy. Commissioned by Prime Minister Remitla Quadro, the facilities form a central pillar of the Zero Data Abroad initiative, ensuring that all public administration data is stored, managed and secured within national borders rather than relying on foreign hosting. The 2 centers together provide around 3,000 terabytes of storage, 105,600 gigabytes of memory and 28,800 CPU cores, supporting more than 7,000 virtual machines to host government digital services locally. The project, financed through the National Digital Transition Budget at a cost of exceeding 15 billion francs, is expected to generate net savings of 85 to 95 billion francs over the next decade by reducing external data hosting expenses. Prime Minister Ouedraogo highlighted the centers as an act of sovereignty, emphasizing the critical importance of retaining control over national data for security, autonomy and effective public governance. Government directives now designate these facilities as the primary platform for all public digital services. Looking ahead, Burkina Faso plans to construct a larger national data center by 2028 that will meet international standards and extend services to the private sector and civil society, further strengthening the country's digital ecosystem and reinforcing its commitment to technological self-reliance.
In Ethiopia, more homes and businesses now have access to electricity. Access to power supports education, healthcare, and local businesses. Light changes lives.
The University of Global Health Equity held its graduation ceremony in Borera district today, celebrating a milestone for the institution with the 10th graduating class of its Master of Science in Global Health Delivery and the first cohort of its dual medical program, Bachelor of Medicine and Bachelor of Surgery. A total of 78 graduates received their degrees, representing a diverse group of nationalities, including Ethiopia, Rwanda, Eritrea, Ghana, Germany, Malawi, Nigeria, Burundi, Uganda, and Zimbabwe.
Today, we know when, how, and where to look for answers. We know how to ask better questions, verify information, and work with others when needed. We understand that good medical practice is not about knowing everything, but about knowing how and when to seek help. Our journey began on the morning of July 7, 2019, when 30 young students arrived in Butaro, most of us fresh from high school. We were excited, afraid, and uncertain about who we would become. We did not yet speak the language of medicine. We did not understand health systems or the weight of caring for another human life, but we carried something stronger than knowledge. We carried hope. 6.5 years later, we stand here transformed, not just trained, but shaped. Shaped by patients, mentors, loss, service, and a mission larger than ourselves. And today, something remarkable happens. All 30 students who began this journey together are graduating together.
The ceremony was graced by First Lady Janet Kagame alongside Rwanda's Prime Minister, Minister of Education, Minister of Health and other senior dignitaries, underscoring the government's commitment to strengthening health education and leadership on the continent.
At the heart of this institution is a simple, demanding commitment, an option for the poor in healthcare. We call it O for the P because we use it so much. It shaped everything, what you were taught, how you were taught, and what kind of physicians you've become. Here, Equity was never an elective. It was a foundational requirement. That commitment was embodied in the fullest sense by our founder, Paul Edward Farmer, and we're so fortunate to have his wife Dee Dee here with us today. We all feel the pain of Paul's absence, but we also know how deeply present he remains, especially in this graduating class. Paul loved the time he spent with you, and this is for the medical students. He knew you individually. He followed your progress closely and delighted in your seriousness, your humor, and your refusal to accept easy answers. He believed fiercely in students and even more fiercely in teaching. For Paul, learning and teaching was not preparation for moral life. It was one of the highest forms of moral life.
In her address, the First Lady highlighted the importance of equipping healthcare professionals with global competencies to improve health delivery and tackle public health challenges across Africa. UGAHE's programs aim to train leaders capable of addressing complex health system issues while promoting equity in healthcare access. First Lady Janet Kagame has been awarded an honorary doctorate by the University of Global Health Equity for her exceptional leadership and contributions to education, health and equity in Rwanda, Africa and beyond.
By the powers vested in me by the University Senate and the Board of Governors, and in accordance with the standing legislation of the university and the laws and regulations of the Republic of Rwanda, it is my distinct honor and privilege to confer upon Your Excellency, Mrs. Janet Kagame, this degree of Doctor of Humane Letters honoris causa, in recognition of your exceptional leadership, distinguished public service, and contributions to education, health, and equity in Rwanda, across Africa, and beyond.
This year's graduation not only marks a decade of excellence in global health education at UGHE, but also the launch of the university's MBBS program, a significant step toward producing highly skilled medical doctors to serve Rwanda and the wider region. Liberia has unveiled an ambitious plan to inject nearly $900 million into its ports and transport infrastructure, a move aimed at reshaping the country's economy and positioning it as a strategic maritime and logistics hub in West Africa. At the center of the initiative is the free port of Monrovia, which the National Port Authority (NPA) says urgently requires upgrading to meet international shipping standards. NPA Executive Director Mubla Galu Gwesa revealed that the authority is seeking roughly $550 million for a 5-year strategic plan covering the free port and a proposed dry port in Nimba County. The upgrades aim to accommodate larger vessels, increase revenue, decongest Monrovia, and directly link inland production zones to maritime trade routes through improved roads, rail connections, and land acquisition for expansion. By reducing shipping times, lowering logistics costs, and providing reliable transit infrastructure, a revitalized free port complemented by inland dry ports and integrated transport networks could turn Liberia into a competitive hub for regional trade. In addition to port development, the government is seeking approximately $350 million to modernize domestic transport through the National Transit Authority. Plans include procuring minibuses, cargo trucks, larger buses and electronic buses to improve efficiency, facilitate rural-to-market transport and enhance food security. Public-private partnerships were emphasized as a key driver for success, which with private investors expected to boost operational efficiency, inject capital and reduce the fiscal burden on government. Officials also announced plans to privatize domestic airports, enhance toll systems and attract logistics investors. Analysts warn that sustained political commitment, effective partnerships and strategic investment will be crucial to translating Liberia's geographic advantage into lasting economic gains. Moving on to our business headlines, Libya has signed a landmark 25-year oil development agreement with France's Total Energies and the U.S. company ConocoPhillips, with total investments exceeding $20 billion. Prime Minister Abdul Hamid Dbeibah announced on Saturday during the 4th Libya Energy and Economic Summit in Tripoli. The agreement targets a significant increase in the production capacity of Libyan Waha Oil Company, aiming to reach up to 850,000 barrels per day, with net revenues projected to surpass $376 billion over the life of the contract. The signing signals Libya's intent to revitalize its oil sector, the nation's primary source of income after years of disruptions caused by domestic conflicts and political instability. The agreements were formalized on the sidelines of the Libya Energy and Economic Summit, which drew participation from both domestic and international energy firms, positioning Tripoli as a hub for investment, discussions and industry collaboration. Prime Minister Dbeibah described the deals as pivotal for Libya's economic recovery and long-term growth, emphasizing that foreign investment in the oil sector will create revenue, enhance production capacity, and help stabilize the country's critical energy infrastructure. Moving to Tanzania. Tanzania's Rural Energy Agency, REA, and the East African Crude Oil Pipeline, EACRP, have signed a 5-year cooperation agreement to extend electricity to villages and communities along the pipeline corridor, marking a major step in linking energy infrastructure with inclusive rural development. The agreement, signed in Dar es Salaam by Rural Energy Agency Director General Hassan Saidi and East African Crude Oil Pipeline Managing Director Guema Dolot, will deliver reliable power to settlements stretching from the Kagera region in northwestern Tanzania to the coastal Tanga region, ensuring communities directly affected by the project share in its benefits. Saidi said the electrification program will strengthen essential social services, including schools, health centers and water supply systems, while unlocking opportunities for small businesses, agro-processing and other productive rural enterprises. The managing director noted that the initiative reflects East African Crude Oil Pipeline's commitment to improving livelihoods along the pipeline route, stressing that large-scale energy projects must translate into tangible gains for local communities and long-term social impact. The 1,443-kilometer pipeline, which will transport Uganda's crude oil from Kabale Hoima to the Chongolini Peninsula near Tanga for export, passes through the 8 regions, 27 councils and 231 villages in Tanzania, positioning the electrification deal as a transformative intervention for thousands of rural residents along this vital East African energy corridor. Sports. Juventus have set their sights on Moroccan forward Youssef and Nesyri following his impressive performances in both club and international football, according to reports from the Turkish Super League. The 28-year-old Fenerbahce striker featured in all 7 of Morocco's matches at the 2025 Africa Cup of Nations has continued his fine from at club level, scoring 7 goals in 15 league appearances this season. His consistent goal output has reportedly attracted the interest of the Italian giants, with transfer expert Fabrizio Romano confirming that Juventus have already reached a club-to-club agreement with Fenerbahce. However, Romano revealed that the move remains uncertain and El Nesyri is pushing for a permanent transfer, while Juventus are currently only willing to pursue a loan deal. After a club-to-club agreement with Fenerbahce, Juventus have not yet received the green light from Youssef and Nesyri, Romano said, noting that the striker prefers a permanent switch rather than a temporary move. With both sides holding firm on their positions, the future of the Morocco international remains unresolved as the transfer talks continue. Up next are the latest weather forecasts from the region. Before concluding, I invite you to watch our weekly program, African Melody, which comes after the news segment. Thank you for tuning in, and goodbye.
There is no one who sing a song for these Pan-African organizers, our fathers, our grandfathers. So I have to do it. Africa has a lot of beautiful cultures. They told me that if you don't compose your own music, you might be fired. I became a star of the year.
This is African Melody on Pulse of Africa. In our today's African Melody program, we went out of the studio and have a time with the great legendary Ethiopian songwriter, Tamrat Ababa. We would like to have a time with you and want to share your life history, your musical experiences, and so on. When did you start your music journey?
It is by Ethiopian calendar, 1966, National Theatre, while I was 17 years old. And I started there with teenager energy and music feeling. I progressed my music from there. So with the whole senior groups like Laureate Zagai Gebremedin, Marawi Sidot, and Musi Narcis Nalbandian. Those are my tutors. They teach me how to write music, they teach me how to sing. Actually, I have naturally singing potentials, but I start from there.
Here we are at Ethiopian National Theatre, the place where Tamrat Ababa's musical journey starts. Welcome to Pulse of Africa.
Thank you, you too, for having your time with me.
You have started your musical journey here at Ethiopian National Theatre. What was your inspiration for being a musician and start music works?
What inspired me is to be hired first to the National Theatre groups, and the group was a senior of Ethiopian National Theatre band. They call them Gadamoi Haile Selassie theater musicians. Okay, by then, when I was coming to attend them, I was having examination with 100 and something people. But I passed the musical exam by singing Amharic, Sudanese, and English. And then I competed everybody. Then I'm hired by Musi Narcis Nalbandian and Ato Marawi Sidot and Laureate Zagai Gebremedin. They pick me up because I have a variety of talent. And on my talent, I start singing with them and showed them a progression that I am good in vocal and singing different, like diversified songs. By then, I was making $75 a month. I was very young, like 17 years old. So, and then there is a music competition on the first day of New Year, which is Pagme 5th in the night. And then they told me that if you don't compose your own music and show your talent on that competition time, you might be fired. So you better be ready within the coming 6 months and show us your talent. Okay. I had a story of my younger sister. Then I wrote that music and lyrics. And I remember that Ato Getu Ayala, he was a comedian here. He was a comedian singer. And then he helped me with an accordion, like, to organize my songs. We organized it together. Then there is Gazahain Wase. He's a music arranger, and he arranged it for me. Then we go to the stage. Then by Pagme 5th night, it's New Year's Eve. Then we go to the stage, we sing that song, and everybody was very, very, very happy. And they like it. And the next day was National Theater, the 1st of September. It was very crowded on the hall and outside to get the ticket and to get in. And then the next day, the same thing, people, they just asking to repeat my music so many times. I became a star of the year. The next day, I got a permanent hired letter from it was a guy, Gabramaden, with increasing my salary to 120 Ethiopian birr. Then now I'm settled to National Theater.
What about your life experience in America?
I don't have any happiness because I cannot show my talent. I cannot show my music, preference. I just work in the nightclubs. So I play like every night other people's music. And people, they still love me because they have remembering their country, and I sing the songs what they know. So they go to the memory of their country and they love me. That's all. I'm just continuously doing the same thing over and over.
You have a song, Fade Mama Africa. It's focused on Pan-Africanism. What inspired you to write such a music song?
Pan-Africanism is the basic concept of African, or like OAU. So those people who they start organizing this power struggle are always in my mind, especially those who are accomplished for OAU. Haile Selassie first, Jomo Kenyatta, Dr. Kwame Nkrumah, Nyerere, Patrice Lumumba. I think he's the first one who assassinated by, foreign power or foreign military. So I was thinking about how the OAU becoming organized and how they are agreed to put their own institution, African institution, which is the big one in Ethiopia. Of course, it is by Adwa. Adwa is, even its Ethiopian victory victory days or victory times, but it is include Pan-Africanism. I believe in this. Then there is no one who sing a song for these Pan-African organizers, our fathers, our grandfathers. So, within, out of his boundary, within, out of his country, the Bob Marley, he sings, African Unite, African Unite. So he sings this song for us. What about us? We have a big responsibility for those people to be, remembered, and African boys or girls has to know them, has to get their own history at some point. So I have to do it. Then I start writing the songs. Last 4 years ago, I came to Ethiopia, and there is one, arranger, music arranger. His name is Ermias Badada. So I said, Ermi, I got a song. So can you compose these songs for me? Whereas like I won't sing about African history for African people. He said, okay, never mind, we'll do it. Okay, I got an appointment with him. I go to his studio, then he start singing, and he starts composing the music. I sing it. I sing the song. Oh man, everybody love it.
We give so much thanks to our fathers, so much thanks to Pan-African fighters.
Can you remind us how many music songs you have wrote?
There are few, well, about 10, 20 musics, whereas people, they catch it. They love it, they sing it, they listen to it every day. So they are very popular. I got a chance of people to love my music, people to pick and select my music. That's what it is. Like the popular singer in Ethiopia was Tilahun Gassasa. He sings my songs like Asrasos or Sega, which is 13 Months of Sunshine. It is about tourism, which reflects how they feel, how people they celebrate with them. So this is a music, one of the toughest music, which every year from Maskaram to Pagume goes on for the people to sing about their own holidays within their holidays timing. So this is the one which is popular. And there is another one with Muhammad Ahmad, which is Tawli Madgalai. Tawli Madgalai is a song that missing your family, your lover, your sister, brothers. So it is just singing for them. I miss you kind. So that is the second popular one. And Tedros Tadese sings Yakaba Braloi, which is why you give me a pen. It's not fair. I still love you. I always loved you. but you give me more and more pain every day. Please come and sit with me and let's have our love, by touching, by hugging, by talking, the meaning. So that is the third one. These are the songs, very, very top music which I had. Aster Awaka, Amal Malabata, Malkamu Tabaja, and Delahun, Mahamud, and Teddy Thades. These are the whole singers. They sing my song. They sing all my composition. They are very exciting. They are very, very, very smart guys. This generation is more faster and singing generation songs, not the old songs what we have, but they're created a new ideas, a new music for the people as a new generation and as a new environment, a new concept. So this generation, I appreciate that they are doing different than us. Ours is more classical things and all as like memories. But the new generation, they sing all love songs by changing their beats. And it's amazing. So they're good. They're very good. And the music sounds also changed than us, than our generation. The sound is different. The sound is making you hyper. They hype their mood. So they're good in all sense. I like them.
For African young art workers, especially songwriters, singers, and other art workers, what's your suggestion to shape the history of Africa, the story of Africa, and to show the image of Africa, the beautiful image of Africa, and resonate the voice of Africa to the other world?
The young artists, they got energy and potential, but what they have to look for is for being African culture is more to be popular in the world. And instead of adapting the foreign cultures, like the dress, the walking, the hair, bringing that to Africa and to make it theirs, it is better they put their own product, African product, all over Africa. They can make any kind of fashions. There are so many designers. There are so many art workers. So they can make African image very popular in the world. We are a big continent. We have so many resources, energies. The content of songs has to be Africanism. Africanism. It has to be speaking as an African to the foreign world. Africanism has to be within us. We have to adapt it. It's not about, Jim Jones or Michael Jackson songs or whatever. We have our beautiful musics. The new generation can develop Africanism with any context, cultures, songs, musics, clothes, designing, African products to reflect African. That's all I advise. Let's work on the circle of this. Let's work out this. We can be very popular. Africa has a lot of beautiful cultures, So that beautiful cultures has to reflect us It has to be our facial cover and expose it to the world. We have to show Africanism. That's all my advice.
Dear viewers, I hope you have enjoyed our conversation with Tamrat Abebe, the legendary Ethiopian songwriter. Don't forget to subscribe, like, and share Pulse of Africa. Thank you for watching. Goodbye.